Ever feel like you're just drowning in diet advice?
Hmm.
Seriously, one person says keto, another's all about paleo, and don't even get me started on the whole carbs debate. It's a lot.
Oh, totally overwhelming. It's like a new best way pops up every week.
Exactly. But today, we're kind of zeroing in. We're grabbing our gear for a deep dive into something specific that's getting talked about a lot: vegan bodybuilding.
Right. We're going to sift through all that noise and really look at what this one source, the Vegan Bodybuilding Cookbook, actually says. Think of it as, a guide to getting strong and healthy on plants.
Yeah, and it's not just recipes, though. I mean, it's got 100 of those, which sound pretty good, actually.
Mhm.
But it's also got the why. Like, why choose veganism for fitness? What's the nutrition science behind it? Some interesting angles.
Mhm.
So our mission for you today, pretty simple. We're pulling out the key stuff on how a vegan diet can, well, boost your health, help with weight, and yes, actually build muscle.
And we'll try to keep it light,
Yeah,
clear, maybe a bit fun. Definitely no dense textbook readings here.
definitely not. Okay, let's dive in. So the book starts with the big question: why vegan? Especially if fitness is your main goal.
Well, the author lays out basically three main buckets, you could say.
Mhm.
Reasons people choose it. Health is a big one. Then ethical reasons and environmental ones too.
Okay, let's start with health then. That seems like a common entry point for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And the book makes some strong points. It emphasizes how a typical vegan diet is just packed with nutrients, right? You've got your whole grains, fruits, veggies, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds.
Yeah, all the stuff we're kind of told to eat more of anyway. It's like a nutrient party for your body.
Pretty much. And it doesn't just say eat your veggies. It points to some research suggesting why maybe limiting meat could be good long term.
Like what?
Well, there was this big study back in 2015. It found a link between eating meat and a higher risk of things like heart disease, certain cancers, type 2 diabetes.
Wow, okay, so actual data, not just general feelings.
Right. Solid data.
And this next bit, honestly, it made me pause. The World Health Organization, the WHO,
Yeah. What about them?
they classified processed meats, this was back in 2015 too, as a type 1 carcinogen.
Type 1. Wait, isn't that?
Yeah, same category as tobacco smoke and asbestos,
Ooh, okay. That really puts things like sausages and hot dogs in a different light.
doesn't it? Suddenly that bacon cheeseburger feels a little less appealing, maybe?
It definitely makes you think. And the book also links processed meat to diabetes risk. Pretty significantly, actually.
Why significant?
A study from 2012 suggested just one serving a day was linked to something like a 51% higher risk of developing diabetes.
51% from one serving. That's huge, especially considering how common diabetes is now.
It really is. It puts those daily choices into perspective.
Okay, so processed meats, diabetes. What about heart health? That's always a big concern.
Yeah, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer globally. The WHO says that. And here's where it gets interesting. The book brings up chicken.
Chicken. I thought that was the safe meat, the healthy one.
Well, that's the common thinking, right? Lower cholesterol than red meat. But the book points to some research, one study from 2013, suggesting maybe chicken still raises cholesterol levels quite a bit, potentially as much as red meat does.
Really? So the jury might still be out on chicken being the heart-healthy hero.
It seems the understanding is maybe still evolving there. It's not quite a free pass.
Interesting. Okay, so meat, chicken, then the book looks at dairy. And this was pretty eye-opening, too.
What did it say about dairy?
It connects it to various cancers: prostate, breast, colon, and even some autoimmune diseases, potentially because of, like, hormones or the animal protein itself.
Yeah, there are studies that show correlations. For example, one from 2013 suggested women with breast cancer who consumed more dairy had a higher mortality risk.
Oh.
And there's also research highlighted by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine linking dairy to increased prostate cancer risk in men. These are associations, but definitely worth considering.
Absolutely. And if that wasn't enough, the book talks about contamination, like
Yeah.
actual bacteria,
Okay. What kind?
fecal bacteria. Apparently, an FDA study back in 2010 found it in a really high percentage of pork chops, ground beef, even chicken breasts, like 88% to 95%.
Seriously, that's kind of gross.
Right. And get this, another study, 2015, found basically minimal difference in carcinogenic potential between organic meat and conventional meat.
So paying more for organic might not sidestep that particular issue?
Seems like maybe not, at least according to that study. The contamination potential is pretty widespread, it seems.
Good to know.
And then for weight management, lots of people focus on that. A 2018 study showed vegans tended to have lower cholesterol, triglycerides, blood pressure, and BMI compared to meat eaters.
So potential benefits across the board there, heart health markers and weight.
Yeah, seems like it. So that covers a lot of the health arguments. What about the environmental side?
Right, the second big reason people choose veganism, this is where you see the kind of global impact.
The book points out animal agriculture is a huge driver of things like rainforest destruction, species extinction, ocean dead zones, and using up massive amounts of fresh water.
Yeah, it even references that documentary, What the Health, which goes deep into those issues.
And the greenhouse gas thing is staggering.
Oh, tell me about it. The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization says raising livestock produces more greenhouse gases than the entire global transportation sector.
More than all the cars, planes, trains, everything.
Everything combined, yeah. It's a huge contributor.
Wow. That statistic always blows my mind. And the water usage, too.
Massive. Animal agriculture is responsible for something like 2/3 of global freshwater consumption. That was from a 2015 report. It's a thirsty industry.
2/3. It's hard to ignore that environmental footprint.
It really is. And then the third reason mentioned is the ethical side, concerns about animal welfare.
Right. The book touches on the conditions, often crowded, risk of disease, that kind of thing.
And it brings up an interesting point about antibiotics. Back in 2009, apparently 80% of antibiotics sold were for animal agriculture.
80%. That suggests it's pretty tough to keep animals healthy in those systems without heavy medication use, right?
It certainly raises questions, yeah, both about animal welfare and the bigger issue of antibiotic resistance.
Okay, so health, environment, ethics. Those are the big why vegan pillars. But the book also gets specific about why vegans don't eat eggs and fish, which some vegetarians might. Let's talk about that. And hey, speaking of keeping our bodies running well at a fundamental level, we wanted to quickly mention our sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
Boost yourselves now with Induinade Tap Comment to get yours podcast. And in it,
Oh, yeah.
don't miss out on cellular energy. Grab your Endo Indeed today. Link is in the podcast description and first comment. All right, back to eggs and fish. Why are they excluded from a vegan diet, according to the book?
Okay, so eggs. This is interesting. The book points out that the U.S. government actually restricts how eggs can be marketed. They can't easily use words like nutritious or safe.
Wait, really? Why not?
Because of regulations against false or misleading claims. Basically, there are concerns about their health impact.
Huh. Like what concerns?
Well, cholesterol is a big one, obviously. But the book mentions a 2012 study that equated the cardiovascular risk of eating an egg daily to smoking 5 cigarettes a day.
Whoa, 5 cigarettes. That's intense. I hadn't heard that comparison.
Yeah, it's pretty stark. Plus, eggs contain compounds like choline and trimethylamine, which another study from 2019 linked to higher risks of heart attack, stroke, and premature death.
Yikes. Okay, maybe not the health halo food some people think.
What else? Salmonella risk is another point. The book calls it a top cause of food-related death.
Right, the raw cookie dough warning suddenly makes more sense.
Exactly. And those labels like free range, the book suggests they can be misleading. A huge percentage of U.S. eggs are still from caged hens, and free range can sometimes just mean thousands of birds crammed in a barn with access outside, not necessarily roaming green pastures.
Ah, so the label doesn't always match the idyllic image. Got it. Okay, what about fish? Omega-3s, right. Isn't fish supposed to be super healthy?
Fish definitely has omega-3s, which are good, but the big concern highlighted is mercury contamination.
Ah, yeah. I've heard about that, especially for pregnant women.
Precisely. Certain fish accumulate high levels of mercury, which is toxic. And it's not just wild-caught fish. Farmed fish can have issues too, related to water contamination or antibiotics used in crowded pens.
So potential downsides there, too, that a vegan diet avoids. Okay, makes sense. Now, the big one for fitness folks, muscle. Can you actually build muscle without meat? That's the classic question, isn't it?
It really is the million-dollar question for many, and the cookbook tackles it directly. The short answer, yes, absolutely, you do not need meat.
Okay, so what's the secret then? Just eat broccoli all day.
Not quite. The key is getting enough calories overall and making sure those calories come from quality vegan foods. It's about sufficient fuel.
Right, not just restriction. And the book talks about macros, protein, fats, carbs, but also micronutrients, right? Vitamins and minerals.
Exactly. Those micronutrients from things like berries, apples, greens, nuts, seeds, they're crucial for muscle recovery and growth processes. It's not just about protein.
Eating the rainbow is good for gains, too.
You got it. And the book also stresses consistency in your workouts. You got to challenge your body, change things up, reps, intensity, weight to keep stimulating growth. Muscles adapt, you know?
Yeah, they get bored easily. You have to keep surprising them. And it mentions the mental side, too, pushing past those perceived limits.
Oh, for sure. That mind-muscle connection. Often you can do more than you think. Consistency is key. And of course, you need the actual building blocks.
Amino acids.
The essential ones, yeah. Especially leucine, isoleucine, and valine, the BCAAs everyone talks about.
And the book says you can get those from plants.
Absolutely. Soybeans, edamame, peas, beans, lentils, even rice. Lots of great vegan sources provide all the essential amino acids you need.
Okay, good to know. No steak required for amino acids.
Yeah. Nope. A well-planned vegan diet covers it.
Now, the book talks about cutting and bulking. Can you give us the quick rundown on what those mean?
Sure. So cutting is basically when your main goal is fat loss. You're trying to cut the fat. Bulking is when you're focused on gaining muscle mass.
And the book says they need different conditions, right? Calorie-wise.
Exactly. Cutting usually needs a calorie deficit, burning more than you eat. Bulking needs a calorie surplus, eating more than you burn to provide energy for muscle growth. It's tough to do both optimally at the same time.
So pick a lane, basically, at least if you're past the beginner stage.
Generally, yeah. Beginners might see a bit of both, but for most, focusing on one goal is more effective. The book also notes weight training is best for bulking, but cardio is still important for overall health.
Makes sense. Fueling versus trimming. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The nutrients, macros and micros.
Right. Macros are the big three. Protein, fats, carbs. They provide energy. Micros are your vitamins and minerals essential for, well, pretty much everything your body does.
And the book differentiates between water-soluble vitamins, like B vitamins and C, the ones your body doesn't store easily,
You need those regularly.
and fat-soluble ones like A, D, E, K, which get stored, and then the minerals like calcium, magnesium, for bones, nerves, all that stuff.
Yep, a good overview of the essentials. Now the fun part. Where do vegans get their protein? The cookbook dedicates a whole section to the best sources.
Because that's the question everyone asks. But protein.
Right. And the book makes a great point. Where do animals get their protein? From plants. The animal is just the middleman.
Good point. Okay, so what are these plant powerhouses?
Well, quinoa is a star. It's a complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids, about 24 grams per cooked cup.
Nice. What else?
Nuts are great. Almonds have around 30 grams per cup. Just watch the salt. The book advises unsalted.
Good tip. Almonds are such an easy snack.
Totally. And beans. Lentils, black beans, chickpeas. They pack anywhere from 15 to like 40 grams of protein per cup, depending on the bean, plus tons of fiber.
Fiber is definitely a bonus. Keeps you full.
For sure. Even veggies contribute. Kale has over 2 grams per cup. Cooked spinach over 5 grams.
Spinach. Who knew? Every bit adds up.
It really does. Hemp seeds are another good one. 10 grams of protein and just 3 tablespoons, plus omega-3s. And nutritional yeast.
Ah, yes. Nooch. I hear it's cheesy.
It has this savory, cheesy flavor, yeah. Great for sauces. And it packs about 18 grams of protein per quarter cup, often fortified with B12 too, which is important for vegans.
B12 is key. Yeah.
Okay, and nut butters.
Yep. Peanut butter, almond, cashew.
Uh-huh.
About 10 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons. Just got to watch out for added sugar in some brands.
Always read the label. Okay, so protein. Check. Plenty of options. What about fats? Good versus bad?
The book breaks down the 4 types. Saturated, trans, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated.
Okay.
Saturated fats are mostly from animal products, but coconut oil is a vegan source. The book mentions it might boost good cholesterol, but generally moderation is still advised for heart health.
Right. And trans fats, those are the really bad ones. Definitely the ones to avoid. Found in processed stuff, hydrogenated oils, some meat and dairy, the book says steer clear due to health risks.
Got it. Avoid trans fats. So the good ones are
monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Mono fats are in things like nuts, avocados, olives, olive oil. Plant sources are linked to better health outcomes. Polyfats like omega-3s and 6s are also essential.
So avocados, nuts, seeds, embrace the healthy fats. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Now, putting it all together, those macro ratios, protein, fat, carbs, does the book give specific numbers?
It emphasizes that it's individual, depends on goals, body type, gender. But they give starting ranges.
Like what?
For bodybuilding, maybe 40-60% carbs, 25-35% protein, 15-25% fat. For maintenance, more balanced, like 30-50% carbs, 25-35% protein, 25-35% fat. And for fat loss, lower carbs, maybe 10-30%, higher protein at 40–50% and fat around 30–40%.
Okay, so ranges to start with and then adjust. That feels more realistic than a single magic number.
Right. Start in the middle, see how your body responds, and it definitely recommends talking to a doctor before big dietary changes. Always good advice.
Absolutely. It also gives a rough calorie target for muscle gain, right? Something about body weight.
Yeah, body weight in pounds times 15 to 17, maybe add another 10% on top of that. Just a guideline to make sure you're eating enough fuel growth.
Fuel is key. Okay, and finally, it is a cookbook. We got to mention the recipes.
100 of them, all vegan. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, pre- and post-workout meals, the works.
And they include all the info, right?
Yeah.
Nutrition facts, time, servings.
Yep, takes the guesswork out, makes meal planning way easier.
And the names sound pretty good. Breakfast hash, vanilla cashew protein shake, buffalo chickpeas, creamy tomato pasta. Sounds delicious, actually.
Totally. It shows vegan food for fitness can be really tasty and satisfying.
All right, that was a comprehensive dive. So, summing it up, what are the big takeaways for you, the listener?
I think the main thing is that, yes, a vegan diet can absolutely fuel great health, help manage weight, and build serious muscle. It's about being smart about it.
Knowing your protein sources, choosing good fats, figuring out the right macro balance for your goals.
Exactly. And the book makes a strong case that you don't need animal products to thrive physically. Plus, you get those environmental and ethical benefits too, if those are important to you.
It's kind of a whole package deal. Okay, so here's a final thought for you to ponder. Based on everything we've discussed today, it's maybe one small thing, one little tweak you could explore in your own diet, or just how you think about nutrition.
Could be trying a new plant protein, maybe paying more attention to fat sources.
Yeah, just one small step. It's all about that informed progress towards a healthier, maybe more conscious you.